Hello, my beautiful friends. This is Lorelei Fenton, your roving ancient awakenings reporter. And in my private life, I'm a transformational personal growth, which basically means busting through whatever gets in your way very, very quickly. And today we're going to speak about the Ancient Awakenings channeling, which were happening on July 1st, 2018, which is also, by the way, our blog talk radio show, Prepare for Change. And these channelings come through James McConnell, who has over 20 years of service in this area. And this week we had a surprise visit from Sanat Kumara. And what wonderful things he had to say. And one of the individuals known as One Who Serves also came to answer questions for us. One Who Serves is a conglomerate, if you will, of ascended masters who remain anonymous so they can highlight the fact that we are all one. And it's not about the individual ego. So, on this radio show, the call facilitator, Zoe, came on first, and she spoke of our gratitude to the White Hat Alliance because they're making many, many sacrifices to bring this new age about. And she also gave our gratitude to the Ascended Masters for their constant, vigilant assistance. And she also mentioned, quite interestingly, that the 4th of July is just about 120 days from the general elections here in the U.S., which fits really well with the NESARA guidelines that elections must take place within 120 days of any announcements that are made. So we hope the buzz is true about some kind of happenings on or around the 4th of this year. Now, 4th of July, I should say this year. Now, NESARA, if you don't know of it, is the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. And that's related to GSARA with the G, which is the global version of that same act. And these worldwide treaties, if you will, have been signed, we are told, by approximately 200 countries. And they are going to usher in a whole new era of prosperity and peace for everyone on the planet. Yes, woo! Now, that's pretty cool, huh? Zoe then made the point that Ancient Awakenings is actually about breaking free of the subjugative programming we've all been under for many, many, many lifetimes. And we're leaving mainstream science behind, and we're moving toward the natural sciences, using light, sound, frequencies, crystals, numerology, natural healing, and much, much more, while also putting a prime focus on protecting our beloved and beautiful Earth. Now, this is wisdom that many of the ancients had, and we are actually reawakening to it. Many of us in this group, by the way, do see, hear, feel, and know things that others don't. And this isn't that something is wrong, by the way, but we're reawakening our natural gifts and talents, which were long ago kind of forced into dormancy in some ways. So we all find a safe space here. All of those of us in that situation, we find a safe space here to share all of this with our awakening brothers and sisters who have literally been our family for eons and are part of what we call our soul group. And by the way, we've often been told by One Who Serves that if you are watching this or paying attention to this group, you are almost definitely our soul group. You wouldn't find it otherwise. So welcome back. Welcome back, family. So next we heard from Rita / Palace Athena, our resident numerologist, and she came on the line. And a flash like that, by the way, indicates the higher self of that individual, which some of us do know and sometimes we do speak it. And astrology, said Rita, is the study of the celestial bodies and their influences on humans and the natural world. And the sign we're under from July 20th to August 20th is Leo, the lion, which is all about courage. And then Saturn moves into the new moon on July 16th, which means we will have to learn as a result of changes. The new moon is Cancer, which brings new beginnings, as does the number 1, which was the day of the month at the time of this channeling. So courage, Learning as a result of change and new beginnings is what we are in store for this month. And that to me sounds like some disclosures are coming in July. How about you? I hope so. Then Zoe came back to announce our channelings and also to let us know that besides our regular speakers that are channeled through James, we also sometimes do hear from Shoshana, the higher self of Joanna McConnell. And then Sananda came to tell us that he was actually stepping aside today, and he was asked to do this at the last minute by Sanat Kumara. And he said that Sanat Kumara had perhaps even an announcement for us. Very cool, huh? So here's what our precious brother Sanat Kumara had to say. Long ago, he made a promise to take us and this planet through this evolution, through all of the calamities and catastrophes and travelings and up and down. And in fact, he said that he promised to be the last one to leave us when this task was done. So now his promise is coming to fulfillment, and he's getting ready to come home to his dear, dear Venus. And he has waited a long time for this, and she has waited so long as well. And we may feel a tear, he said, as we also remember those times of intense love we've had in the past. And now, as we stay here, it gets harder and harder to stay here and to withstand these intense energies coming in. But we are powerful beyond measure. And we also made our promise to be here into the beginning of the next age. And that next age is nearly upon us. We have heard from Ashtar, he said, that the ships and galactics are in readiness. And the Ascended Masters are also ready. And even we are preparing to go home. Home at last, free at last. I can't wait. But I can wait. Actually, I can because it is now time to remember. And then to let go and forget. We have to forget the travails and the pain and remember all that's been good. And we're told that even though it may feel difficult to stay and conditions and energies may seem to get harder, this is really actually just a wink in the eye of time. And we're being nudged and assisted to move forward. And move forward even if it seems like the finish line keeps moving away. And it does sometimes seem that way. But it has not really moved away because we are at the finish line. We are there. This is what we're told. The finish line is right in front of us. And it's now time to cross over it. And this doesn't mean to forget our loved ones, but rather to forget the negativity of the past. To release and let go and go with the flow. And then let the flow take us right to the promised land. Whew. Sanat Kumara will be with us at the next advance as the great initiator to initiate us all. He and all of us are the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. And then our dear brother, Sanat Kumara, left us with all of his peace and love. Woo! We are there. How about that? So then, this did bring a little tear to my eye, you can see. So then one who serves came and said he could hardly follow that. And so he would go right into questions. LOL on that, right? So questions, are the British royal family and Prince William and Harry of the light or of the dark? And this was a question we had. And what we were told is that things are changing in the royal family. Some of the old school will not be moved to the light. Some are being moved, and some never were able to be turned in the first place to the dark. So this shift is happening in the younger generations and in their children much more readily, we're told. Meanwhile, some of the holdovers of the old school are stubborn, and they will not turn to the light no matter what. And one who serves could not say who is of the darkness and who is of the light. And we're advised, as always, to use our own discernment. So that was the advice on that. Did you ever wonder about that going into the light thing when we die? Did you ever wonder what the heck is this going into the light and what's the purpose and whatnot? Well, one person heard that we should not go into the light, and he heard this on the 5D website. And going to the light, we are now told by one who serves, was part of the programming here on this planet. And it was designed to lead us into many repeat incarnations in the past. So if we were to die, we would want to go past that light, not into it, to find all of our true guides and supports waiting for us there. And these are what he called our higher guides. However, and this was important, most of us won't have to worry about this because most of us will not die. We will rather ascend. So this isn't going to be a worry. And in the new earth we're creating, this kind of traps are no longer going to be there. And we were then also reminded that karma from our past lives is over if we allow it to be. And we also have to do as Sanat Kumara said and let go of the past and the old negativity. And that's our access to having it be gone. So here's a fascinating question. Are the false flags a result of mind control technology, such as that which we saw in the Born Identity, for instance? So do people get a signal after being programmed and then start killing each other for no reason? And if so, can this kind of technology be taken away from the dark forces forever? And we were then told, yes, it is very real. It is a type of AI intelligence, and it works through consciousness, not through a centralized location per se. And we can also heave a sigh of relief because, yes, it has been taken away now. So that's a good thing. But what we see now are actually the last-ditch efforts of the cabal, or the last dying breaths, if you will. They're doing the only thing they know how to do, and it is less and less and less successful. And soon they're going to be out of ammunition completely. Well, let's cult the soul, because I'm kind of sick of this false flag insanity. How about you guys? Eesh. So then, one caller asked to know if she had a past life in Korea. And this is something that we're told, this is not the kind of information that they actually give us. Because it's for us to determine who we are. It's for us to remember and take ownership of that. And if we go to fortune tellers or past life regressions and such things, it is still for us to determine if what we're being told is actually true. Is it true for us? Is it for us to remember? And the time is coming where we're going to remember more and more and more and more. So that's something we look forward to. Now, what about this President Trump then? Why, if he is of the light, does he turn so many people against him? Why, one who served was asked, is he separating children from their families? And how can we speak about him to others who aren't in the know? What do we do with that? This is a question for someone. So, we're told that first, Trump is not neutral at all. His purpose here does not allow him to be neutral. He must be firmly on the side of the people and what he considers to be right. And in spite of that, he is doing everything he can on that score. He's not creating the division, and he does not want the division. Those who stand against him are the ones creating it. And they're doing everything they can to curtail his efforts to unite people. Now, President Trump, we're told, totally believes in United We Stand. And he's also doing everything he can to, quote unquote, drain the swamp against all odds. He's doing everything he can to get rid of the dirty politicians and so on and so forth. But the seeming many against him are actually the few that influence the many. And I particularly want to also remind you all that recently we were told in a channeling by one who serves that the photos we have seen of these children in the holding areas are actually old photos. And they're not what's happening now or how it is now. And that, I suppose, is one way that those few are influencing the many by putting this kind of non-current stuff out everywhere we can see it. So here's another good one. Are our minds being read and we don't even know it? One person wanted to know how her 12-year-old son was able to describe Saint Germain, not as the way he's usually shown on this earth in the photos and so on, or pictures, I should say, but in the way he shows himself to her. And we're told that all of these ascended individuals, by the way, by one who serves, he told us that they can appear in any form that they wish. And they often do appear in a form that we might, expect. For instance, in Tibet, they might appear to be Tibetan. And in South America, they might appear to be South American. And then Shoshana came in to say that this son knows her deeply through many incarnations together. And he can and does read her thoughts. And he read this particular thing from her mind. How cool is that? Not only telepathy, but with visual imaging. Whoa, come on. Now here's a good one. Can we send the violet flame to anyone and everyone out there? Or is that a violation of free will? And we were told that's not only acceptable, but it's recommended. We are advised to share the light and spread the light wherever and whenever we can. We send the light, and people can do with it whatever they do with it. That is their free choice. This caller also wanted to know if she had to say when she sent that light these particular words, and I quote, she's sending it and she's saying, in perfect alignment with their divine will and highest good, unquote. Or she asked, is that all of that actually understood? And one who serves said it is understood, so not to worry about that. Here's another good one. Do you feel the presence of one who serves, and does he speak to you? One person has felt this and wanted to know if he should sort of augment the connection, or if one who serves had a particular communication for him personally that he wanted to say here. And this person was told that because he actually asked it, they could tell him that there was going to be a closer connection that would occur between them as a result of his reunion with this family of light. And some communication, he was told, will come to him directly, as well as some will come through another, possibly James, as a result of what happened at the next advance. Pretty cool, huh? So that advance is sounding so exciting, isn't it? So this individual wanted to know if he should learn to channel, and one who serves said that's a personal choice for him and his higher self to choose. And one who serves added that the need for channels is going to get less and less as time goes by. And after the event, it's not even going to be needed because each person will have direct guides and or will communicate directly with the higher self. So it won't be needed at all. I myself then had a question. We're told the light body will not be physical, but also I have learned that the Agarthans do have a level of physicality in their body. So, what's up with that? What's happening? How do we make sense of it? So we were told by one who serves that we will fully ascend to a fully light, or we will ascend, I should say, to a fully light body. And then after we do that, we have a choice to create a more physical form. But none of this is going to happen overnight, we're told, so don't worry too much. I also wanted to know if the rumor I had heard, which I mentioned last week on the video, was true, and I wanted to clarify that for all of you, that people needed to be in their home countries for the dispersal of the Jasara funds. And I wanted to know if that was actually behind these immigration efforts. And I was told no, the immigration efforts of Trump are more about controlling the influences that come here as a result of the immigration process. So that is the case. And we were told that people in general are not advised to pick up and move to another area unless they have a true inner calling to do that. So there's been too much of that, if you will, not coming from a true inner calling. But if they do have a true inner calling, they should heed that call. Okay, so that's that. Okay, here's another one. Do the Boys and Girls Clubs support abortion? And should they be closed for that? This was another person's question. And one who served said that abortion is not to be deemed as right or wrong. It's up to the individual. Otherwise, if it were not, then that's a judgment, and we all need to let go of judgment. This area of abortion is going to become less and less of a concern, he said, as we move forward and the collective consciousness gets to sort of where it needs to be. Life is precious, he said, yes. But when does life begin? When does it begin? Then Shoshana came in to say that the soul chooses its lifetime, a day, a month, 100 years. No matter what specifically terminates that life, it was a choice, a plan, and or a contract. So we can feel okay about that. And I would also now really like to chime in on this issue from my own higher self. And I want to give you a little bit of a true history, if there will, as it was given to me. Women have historically been subjugated. Their sexual freedom and enjoyment was very limited through the ages. And I say there because my higher self is male. And I have had lives that I do remember both ways, male and female. So I do see both sides of this issue. And sexuality itself has been stifled appreciably on this planet for both men and for women. And this was a programming, and it was a direct attempt to keep us from ascending. Because in the higher dimensions, women do not have children except by conscious choice. There are no accidents in the higher dimension. The possibility of accidents was put into this particular dimension so that they could keep women busy with child rearing instead of other things that might forward the ascension. And in a like manner, the sacredness of the full male-female pleasure of the sexual union was largely taken out of our earthly experiences. And what was put in, pure animal instinct and lust were put in for men, leading, of course, to male violations and abuses of every kind through the ages. And what was put in for women was the idea that sex is a non-pleasurable chore and a childbearing necessity. That's what was put in for the women. And this led to a whole lot of sort of female drudgery and the feeling that we were all in chains. We could have no life except for cooking, cleaning, and taking care of children. And this was all done because the sacred, deep, emotional union, and especially the actual orgasm itself, is very close to the higher vibrations. This was not wanted by those who wish to control us. And those beings have always known that too much of this powerful female energy would definitely cause and create our ascension. And in point of fact, right now, the female energy is entering this planet in huge quantities and driving this ascension forward. So abortion rights can actually be seen in one kind of way as the correcting of an age-old wrong that's been done to us. And I say this, by the way, also as a woman who would never in my wildest dreams have considered an abortion for myself. And I probably still would not, if that happened. But that's who I am. And I am not everyone, nor should I be. So then one who serves chimed into this conversation again to say that life actually only begins when consciousness enters the body. Only then does life begin. So hallelujah, we have finally laid to rest that age-old question, when does life begin? That makes it a lot more simple, huh? And presumably consciousness can come whenever it wants to. So there you go. At this point, there were no more questions, and one who serves ended by saying this: we're each doing marvelously. We're each very special to them. And yet, we actually only need to be special to one person, which is ourselves. If we're special to ourselves, the transition into this new age will go much more quickly. And we're advised not to be concerned what anyone thinks of us, or what we did or said or how we did it. Just be concerned with how we feel within us as we're living our lives. Thank you, one who serves, for these wonderful words. And thank you, our beloved Sanat Kumara, for your wonderful words as well. And blessings to you all out there. I thank you so much for listening. And I send you love, light, peace, joy, play, ease, and what I can finally now say, orgasmic bliss for each of you in your life and around you. Namaste. Bye-bye.